Welcome Tarnished. Let's start our GTX 1650 GDDR6 Elden Ring test with the low preset. 1440p is the only res where we can't manage 60 FPS. Generally, I don't recommend low unless you want to push for 60. On the medium preset, 720p and 900p still treat us to 60 frames per second. At 1080p we drop into the lower 50s, and at 1440p we see our frame rate in the high 30s. On the high preset we drop below 60 FPS across all resolutions. At 720p we are still reasonably close, and at 1440p we manage 30 FPS, which will not hold up in the most demanding spots. The maximum preset is manageable if we are looking for 30 FPS. Running a 720p screen, we still hit almost 50 FPS, and at 1080p we get 38 FPS, which will allow us a steady 30 FPS even under more demanding conditions, for example rain. What's best? Here are my recommendations. For 30 FPS, if your monitor is 1080p or lower res, you can choose the maximum preset. Set your resolution to 1152p and enable detect best rendering settings. This will render the game in dynamic super resolution, giving you the crispest image while preventing diffs below 30. But I may run it at native res and enjoy the high frame rate. For 1440p 30, I picked a high preset with shadows and textures on maximum and detect best rendering settings. This worked extremely nicely, and it held on to 30 FPS even when it was raining, during combat and riding around torrent. For 60 FPS at 720p, I'd go for medium with maximum textures and high grass. At low res, grass makes the most striking visual difference, in my opinion, while at high res, shadow flickering below the maximum setting is more noticeable. At 900p, it's medium with maximum textures. High grass not in the cards with 160 frames per second. If you want the high grass setting, you could try turning everything else except for textures to low. At 1080p, the low preset is mandatory, but I also enabled maximum textures. However, it can't dip below 60 frames per second. If you want to avoid that, you'd have to set the resolution to 945p.